3, 2, 1.
Hi, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are live here in Sit Down, a sports and entertainment podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And this will be available via audio podcast tomorrow morning, Friday morning, for all you out there that are not able to watch the live version of the show. Please sit there and feel free to open your beverages, smoke whatever you got, and feel free to join us in the comments. Hit that like and share, as we've got a kick-ass show for you right here in the Sit Down with Sauce God and the 12 Gauge. And we've also got to discuss everything with the Sabres, baseball, and much more right here in the Sit Down. Presented by Duff Wings and BuffaloSauceGod.com. All right. Yes, sir. Let me get this music paused here. You guys are here in the Sit Down. This is a sports and entertainment podcast and also a Buffalo sports podcast hosted by myself, the Sauce God, at Buffalo Sauce God across the social media platforms, and also co-hosted here and produced by my guy, the 12 Gauge, on stage. And the man has got some questions that might put me in a rage, but I'll tell you, Gage has got to tell you, the day is here. What do you say? 12, how you feeling, brother?
Sauce, I am feeling good. I am feeling good. Getting a little drink right now, but
here's the thing. Gage works his tail off. He shows up to work every day, and he's putting in the work, and he's putting in tough work over there at Whack-A-Milk. So I think the guy earned himself a right to sit down. And not only does he have himself a nice beverage, but he's also doing so while kicking ass on this podcast right here. So, Gage, I'll salute to that, brother. I've got myself poured up one right here as well. So if you haven't already done so, ladies and gents, cheers. Hit that like and share. You're right here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show. Like I said, presented by Duff's Wings, the best damn chicken wings there are. You don't have to ask for them extra crispy. You don't have to ask for them hot if you can't handle the heat, because remember that medium is hot, but medium light is the go-to flavors. Check them out, baby. Duff's Original Wings on Sheridan Drive at the original. You don't have to worry about it. And also, this is presented by BuffaloSauceGod.com, the home of Sauce God and merchandise and all things sports and entertainment. So 12 Gauge, we are going to have ourselves a great show because, you know, I told you earlier, I was tired and I had to work through lunch, whatever, and I didn't know if I was necessarily feeling it, but I sat down with my girlfriend, started to talk a little bit about the current things going on with the Bills, Sabres, and Yankees, and I started then to actually get a little fired up. So I love when I can talk with my girlfriend, and it kind of gets the idea stirred up. So, Gage, let's go ahead. We're going to play off this introduction video, actually, and I got you covered this time because I can see it nice and easily. You're here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show, right here on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is heck, all right? Let me tell you something.
I'm gonna crack a cold one since it's a tailgate.
Ooh, ice cold, Mike. Let me tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are live here in the Sit Down with Sauce God, a sports and entertainment show.
I'm whipping the sauce, I'm tripping, of course, I want it all. All of my dogs be running with guard. Your mama, you're holding your pennies and bra. Cause when I get whipping the sauce, you taking it off. I'm dancing on tracks like stuff in the yard. We keeping it quiet, we moving in signs, but now we starting to riot. Yeah, keeping my eye on the prize. I got me a queen, we riding like Bonnie and Clyde. Trips to Dubai, the way I be blessing, I'm destined for changing my decimals. Decibels hitting the wave and rapping incredible, splitting their head like a cantaloupe edible. Got me so high, I'm touching the sky. Of course, I give it my all. I'm whipping the sauce, kicking the door. But then we been here before. She ain't involved, well, she ain't involved. Taking my shot, even the down, we tying the score. Do your dancing, now twist, don't stress, don't trip. Whipping sauce real quick, stay dripping, sipping on cognac. Roll tea in my veins, but you find that I'm whipping it, watch it get saucy.
How you doing it?
I'm twisting and mixing and shaking them haters right off me.
What you doing?
Yes, of course. This is the Sit Down presented by Duff Swings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure you're liked and subscribed and following with your notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the live coverage or any of the updates for Buffalo sports, all things sports, and all things entertainment. Gage, we're going to have ourselves a great show because it's getting close to the NFL draft. Sabres season is officially over, and yes, they didn't make the playoffs again for a 13th consecutive season, but I think there is a big thing brewing at KeyBank Arena in downtown Buffalo there with the current players and the current attitude and the current approach, but it's going to be shaped overall by the decisions they make at head coach, and I think there's a lot of speculation as to who it could be. There was some reports that Alex Tuck would definitely like Lindy Ruff possibly as his head coach. There was some sort of press conference that he had. I personally have some thoughts on that, but I also want to discuss everything for the NFL draft with the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are currently sitting at 28. I'm not saying that you can't get the guy that is going to be the superstar caliber receiver at 28. You know what I mean? Like Justin Jefferson went at, I think 20 that we traded to Minnesota. You can get a guy in the 6th round. It happens, right? But overall, there are prospects that are in this draft that I think we are definitely looking at saying that's a guy I definitely could, see fitting in well to replace Stefon Diggs. Of course, the Buffalo Bills traded Stefon Diggs to the Houston Texans in recent weeks after tons of controversy. And, the guy is just, I know he wrote a nice heartfelt thing to Bills Mafia, and I get that sometimes the fans are salty, but at the same time, it's because the guy acted like, it was so inconsistent, Gage. He was Josh's guy, ready to go to battle with him. He's thankful for him and this and that. And then, just because maybe there were reports that like Stefon Diggs in that Cincinnati playoff game was pissed off because Josh Allen, when all this stuff happens with his ex-girlfriend, he basically acted like, where's your head at? But at the same time, bro, people have personal lives. You're over there in fucking Europe doing, model shits or whatever the hell he's doing. Okay, so my whole thing is I want a guy that's got a great attitude, first and foremost. Do I already think that exists on the Buffalo Bills? Hell yes, I do. And I'll tell you who it exists with. The current core of Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, and Khalil Shakir. Do I think that Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox and Curtis Samuel are enough to not have to use a draft pick for a receiver? No. I don't. I think that you still, if you're able to, you move up. And there are rumors and reports that the Bills are in contention to do so. So if you haven't already done so, ladies and gents, hit that like and share. Join us here in the comment section as well. We're discussing the Buffalo Bills' current rumors in the speculation for the round 1 of the NFL draft in 2024. Von Miller posted on his Instagram, "In Beane we trust," and basically that, he's going to trade up for a receiver. This is a stacked draft for, people's prospects at quarterback, and it's stacked at receivers as well, because Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion, is the number 1 player in the draft, but he's not going to go number 1 unless for some reason Chicago decided to pull a 180 and trade Justin Fields and not go draft a quarterback, which I could see the Chicago Bears doing.
Fucking dumbasses.
You know what I'm saying? But I think the Bills are going to have to get to 4 if they want to draft a quarterback or draft Marvin Harrison Jr. If they want. And I know the Cardinals are shopping that pick because I could definitely see the Chargers at 5 if he's there taking Marvin Harrison Jr. So you're definitely going to have to jump in front of the Chargers. I anticipate 3 quarterbacks go first, and it's quite possible that 4 quarterbacks go first. There's rumors too that the Chargers are kind of willing to trade down too, that they're not necessarily all in on, drafting a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. But I'll say this. I did catch all the interviews, John. I did. And, and I don't want to put anything in quotations, but I'll say this. Everything it sounds like the Bills are either going to trade up or trade down. I don't see them trading down. I understand that they last year said, they didn't have a ton of first-round grades on guys, but they got Dalton Kincaid. That was the guy that they had for the first-round grade, whatever. But I think Brandon Beane is aggressive, and people sometimes forget that. Don't forget that this guy tried to go out there and get Antonio Brown, and then Ian Rappaport and Antonio Brown messed that whole thing up, and we avoided that disaster, thank God. But he went after him. Then he went after Stefon Diggs. He's willing to do – he traded up to get Josh Allen and also draft Tremaine Edmonds, okay? All I'm saying is the Cardinals are calling for 3 first-round picks, and that's ridiculous. That's what they're going to do. But when no teams give them that, John, my anticipation is that You're going to obviously lighten the asking price. You got to start high, sure. But the Bills obviously will not sacrifice that much capital. I don't mind getting rid of second-round picks. I don't. I like the second-round picks, sure. I just think as long as you're not sacrificing a future first round, maybe if you're getting up to move Marvin Harrison to get Marvin Harrison Jr. But Gage, you've seen these receivers play. Does Marvin Harrison Jr. for you, if you can get to 4 somehow, let's say the Cardinals, they want 2 first-round picks, yours this year and then next year. Are you willing to give it a chance? Because I'm only asking because you obviously know we didn't have very good luck in 2014. We move up for Sammy Watkins, and that should have worked out, but it didn't. Guy was injured all the fucking time, and then 4 receivers after him had better years.
Yeah, no, it didn't work out for us. I think I would risk it. Yes.
I think also
Yes.
Sammy Watkins had a little bit of an injury history in college, and that's not something I've seen from Marvin Harrison Jr.
Awesome.
I'm just saying, I'm an Ohio State fan. Obviously, he played with C.J. Stroud, and they were terrific. He played with a much worse quarterback. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say much worse, but nowhere near the talent of quarterback as C.J. Stroud, and he still performed at a Heisman level. They might go as high to get Brian Thomas Jr. And here's the thing I've heard, to make a point to that. The Steelers and the Buffalo Bills have a possible trade in the works to move the Bills up from 28 to 20. You're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. at that. You're not going to get Neighbors more than likely at that. You're not going to get O'Dunn's at that. But I definitely think there's a chance you can get Brian Thomas Jr., who is the teammate of Neighbors over there at LSU. Do the Bills get a generational receiver to be successful? My only thing is this. If the asking price is not out of this world, and Brandon Beane is very calculated, they will draft and get the value that they can, because I do believe that they have confidence in these guys. Number 1, your franchise quarterback, Josh Allen. Number 2, the running back right behind him, hashtag let James cook. Number 3, Dalton Kincaid literally is going to
Kinky,
be.
baby.
Dalton Kincaid easily could be a number 1 overall option for anybody's offense in the NFL with what we saw from him last year. The kid's got hands. But also, you can utilize Khalil Shakir, because I'm sorry, whether people want to say he didn't face as good of coverage or this and that, and I don't care. The guy made use of his touches. The guy is dangerous, and he can do absolutely anything you ask him. And he's not even that big of a dude. Khalil Shakir, he works his ass off. And guess who he's been working with in the offseason, Gage? A former Buffalo Bill receiver, great, Eric Moulds. Yeah. That's the shit I like. Also, I'll say this.
Great
I want
hands.
to say this. I believe everybody that wanted to talk about, Josh Allen, he doesn't work with Jordan Palmer in the offseason, because maybe at some point you don't need – Tom Brady wasn't working with fucking quarterback coaches so many years. He got to a level, and now he's got his own thing that he does. But he showed up to voluntary workouts, and he was ready to fucking go. You know what I'm saying? So I think Stefon Diggs had been traded, number 1, Gage, because the cancer existed in the locker room. I hate to say it, dude. I really hate to say it. And I'm not trying to use faulty things. But reminds me of Jack Eichel. Reminds me of Jack Eichel. Because Ryan O'Reilly, everybody thought that he was the salty one because he wanted to be captain, but proved to be that was the fucking wrong choice. And Ryan O'Reilly should have been the guy, and he had a point. He had a fucking point. I don't think the Bills need a generational receiver. And here's the thing. Just because you draft a guy, Marvin Harrison Jr., doesn't mean he's guaranteed to be a fucking superstar generational receiver. Do I think he's going to be? Yes. Not because of who his dad was, but because of all the things. The big plays, the big games, the quarterbacks he's played with, the touchdowns, the Heisman level production. Rumors that Khalil Shakir will play outside some, and Kincaid will play in the slot. That's the thing. I'm good with how Joe Brady's going to design this offense. Do I think the Bills should use that first-round pick wherever they end up for a receiver? Maybe not at 28. I know there's Keon Coleman from Florida State, but no. If you're going to use it, you got to trade up for a guy. Gage, overall, do you think if let's say the Bills, here's a good theory. Do you think that you could see any legitimacy in this? If the Bills, let's say they do make that trade with the Steelers to get to 20, do the Bills then try to use that 20 to move up again?
Interesting. No.
I do think the Bills, if they get to 20, it's gonna be paired up. My guess, this is what I could see. It's gonna be somehow worked up to then be in a trade. I don't oh, here's a real fucking long shot theory. Okay. I honestly think the Bills are ready to have a 2 tight end offense with Dawson Knox, and I think that he's kind of accepted his role as you're not going to be the primary pass catcher because you have to catch it if you want to be that.
Let's hear it.
But
Let's hear it.
let's say
Let's
this,
hear it.
Gage. Let's say there's a team that goes, hey, we need a tight end. We'll take Dawson Knox. We'll take your 20th overall pick, and we'll move you up to 10. And we get a second-round pick next year. Yeah, I mean, dude, that works. Do I think that would necessarily happen? No, but you never know. You never know. Dawson Knox can still fucking play.
And what?
And then I think from there, the Bills would then be in a position to draft a receiver. Obviously, probably not Marvin Harrison Jr., or unless something drastic happens to his stock. But maybe a guy like O'Dunn's, maybe Neighbors. You're definitely going to be probably in play for Brian Thomas Jr. at that point. I got to watch more film on these guys, though, because I like to watch film after we draft, because then I kind of get an idea of where I should look, and I just want to know who the guy is that we get. I don't want to anticipate who we're going to get. By the way, here we go. We got another comment from John Robert the Man, by the way. I personally like Troy Franklin also. Maybe they will trade up in the second round and get Troy Franklin. That's my thing is, I know
Honestly,
the Bills do well drafting in the later rounds too, okay? But I think when you're talking about the receivers, they're going to be aggressive in going after a guy in the first round is my only guess. And if they don't, then they're going to trade down, my guess. Because I also could see this. I don't mean this way, Gage, but I could also see this. The Bills are trying to get their salary cap more in contention for the next couple of seasons, right? That they might want to just actually get draft capital and build that way, because that's how you do it.
Right.
When you sign guys to contracts, you got to draft well.
Right.
By the way, quick note. Bill Belichick will be on with Pat McAfee as a draft analyst during the NFL draft. So that's pretty fucking cool to see. Because, like, you know, obviously he's a boring dude. And I'm curious to see what his take is on stuff. Because, like, Bill will probably be like, oh, they drafted that guy in the first round. We were probably going to try to draft him in the 5th round. We got that guy in the 2nd round. But it was a 4th round fucking caliber pick.
Yeah, what a boring fucking dude.
You know what, though, man? Guy knows football. Guy loves football. Guy's a pretty fucking interesting dude off the field, too. He loves Harry Potter books, apparently. And also, one thing I will always think that was pretty fucking interesting about the Patriots is they had a guy working alongside Bill Belichick. He's not got an actual title with the team, not a coach, not even a fucking executive, nothing. This guy was like a fucking Navy SEAL type shit. And, like, you know, some Black Ops type shit. And he was working with Bill Belichick. How do you think they fucking had Spygate scandals and fucking the flake? Obviously, this guy knew a thing or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's probably like the kind of guy that like knows how to manipulate the PR level too. Like, you know, stirring up drama. Like, you know, it could have been him that said, "Oh, Stefon Diggs is unhappy." You know what I'm saying? You guys are right here in the Sit Down Though, a sports and entertainment show and Buffalo sports coverage right here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Join us here in the comments, and this will be available via audio podcast tomorrow. Me and 12 Gauge are rocking and rolling. We are vibing. Cooper DeJean is registered as a cornerback, but he has played safety. He is versatile, and that's the kind of guys that Sean McDermott loves. I think the Bill. You know what's funny? Before we move on to our Sabres talk,
probably fucking Teddy Bruschi.
I have heard so many people saying about how the Bills' defense, it's just falling off because of the players that we lost. And don't get me wrong, we have lost some notable players. Tre'Davious White, okay, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde at this moment. What does that mean? People forget that the Bills also re-signed Taylor Rapp for a 3-year contract, who's much younger and ready to go. They also extended their all-pro slot fucking corner, Taron Johnson. They also had what the fuck? Why can I not? Khair Alam. I couldn't think of his name for a second. Poor guy. but he started coming alive at the end. I think that they're going to try to find a way to utilize his skill set more too. I think that they were able to do that with a guy like Dane Jackson for so many fucking years. Obviously, he got some big money. I think with the Titans. But that's my thing. The Bills are still going to be all right. They're going to know how to, dude. Everybody thought we were fucked last year, Gage, when we lost Jermaine Edmonds. Look how Terrell Bernard played.
We're going to be fine. We're going
and
to
a
be
healthy Matt
fine.
Milano. Healthy Matt Milano.
We're going to be fine.
Yep. Oh, also Greg Rousseau coming into his fucking own. AJ Epinesa fucking coming. Yeah, dude, we're gonna be just fine. Micah is still putting on his donating softball game. I fully believe that there's a chance Micah Hyde will have some type of either comes back with the Bills somehow. He didn't sign anywhere, right, Gage or John? But I fully believe that he'll have some type of capacity with the team, just like Kyle Williams has kind of had little bits and pieces here with the team after his 10 years at Buffalo. But I think Micah Hyde is a true Buffalonian in a sense because he does this, and he obviously fucking loves it here. I always felt like he had a different love for the city than Jordan Poyer per se. Not to throw shade at Jordan Poyer, but they really seemed very happy to go to fucking Miami. You know what I'm saying? So,
whatever.
By the way, man, so the Yankees avoided a sweep last night and came back and beat the Blue Jays 6-4. Yankees are on a fucking roll, man. Aaron Judge is a little sluggish right now. I wouldn't say it's a slump, obviously, because it's just the beginning of the year. But dude, Juan Soto has filled in. How about fucking Anthony Volpe, Gage? This kid is fucking really, really gonna be something for the Yankees. And the crazy part is, we got two fucking guys still down in the minors. Spencer Jones, I think his name, and he's a center fielder. He's fucking big too. He was their MVP down in spring training. And then the Martian, Jason Dominguez. That's crazy. And this is a team that's got Juan Soto, who is very young still, Aaron Judge, your captain, to lead the way. Gage, I really believe that the Yankees have the fucking – if they stay healthy, That's the crucial thing. They stay healthy. I fully believe the Yankees have what it takes to win the World Series, especially if Garrett Cole comes back and he pitches.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. Absolutely.
Overall, though, what teams from baseball, the little bit that you have paid attention, what teams have stood out to you as some of the better talented teams in majors right now? You got to say the Orioles are up there too, right?
I haven't paid attention to baseball, honestly.
Well, I'm glad, because honestly, I was setting you up there, because I'll tell you, Gage, the Orioles have got themselves something fucking brewing over there. Okay, Jackson Holiday, their first overall pick last year, whatever. He's 20 years old. Got called up. They're letting this kid wear the number 7. And who wore the number 7 for the Orioles? Cal Ripken. And he's fine with it. But I'll say this, man. Got to live up to those expectations. It's funny, though, if you look at it, Gage, you got to take a look after the show. Gunnar Henderson, one of their other young guys, it's like fucking, a top prospect, but he's been playing now for a couple years. Him and Jackson Holiday look alike. They look alike. They actually had to change their whatever. So, anyways, Gage, let's talk Sabres next. You had a question that you wanted to ask me in regards to the Sabres, and I'll give you my answer. Some about Lindy Ruff, coach.
What do you think about Lindy coming back to the Sabres, my guy?
Well, he was fired by the New Jersey Devils recently. That doesn't throw me away from it. Don't worry. But I've been saying for a while that I think that something that can help a franchise when you're lacking the thing to bring everything together sometimes is culture that's got to change. And I think that can sometimes come from just tradition. The Yankees hired Aaron Boone as their manager, and I thought, all right, he played for them for a little bit, nothing like a serious Yankee or whatever. But I always wanted a guy like Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. He's a guy that's Yankee tradition. But I think Lindy Ruff could come back and, maybe coach the Sabres. If he does, Gage, I'm okay with it. I don't know if it would happen. Reunions don't always happen like that. but I could see it happening because he was fired, because he is the kind of guy that I think a lot of people want to see come into this job. But I believe that the Sabres also have to give, definitely have to give the interview to the Rochester Amherst head coach. You have to. I honestly don't know what but I fully believe a guy like John Tortorella is the kind of guy that you need to come in. Because here's the thing. There's no doubt the Sabres team is fucking talented. But what the Sabres team doesn't have is the motor to take that talent and fucking drive to winning games. That's something that comes sometimes in the difference of head coach. Like, look at Doug Collins with the fucking Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. 2 years with the, Eastern Conference Finals. But Phil Jackson comes in and he takes them to the next level. That's how it works. I'm not saying specifically John Tortorella, but a guy that's going to come in and bring some discipline, a guy that's going to be a little bit of a hard ass, because here's the one thing, I've said it before in the previous episode.
I like it.
Casey Middlestat said about Colorado how different practice was, how much more intense it was. And that was stuff that's been talked about Buffalo for a while now, going back to Jack Eichel days. But I did see that Rasmus Dahlin and Alex Tuch had good things to say in their postseason conferences, that, it's going to start with getting in the fucking gym. I think that they're ready to go. I think that the leaders of this team are ready to go. I like what Tyra said last show. You make Tuch the captain, you make Rasmus the assistant captain. You know what I'm saying? Gage, Sabres will make the playoffs next year. They will. They will make the playoffs next year. As long as they don't have any injuries, they will make the playoffs. I fully believe they're going to buy out Jeff Skinner's contract. They're going to get rid of that contract. And I think that they're ready to go with the goalies that they have. And they're ready. They got some young talent. It's getting fucking ready. But overall, we talked about the Buffalo Bills possibly trading up in the draft for a receiver. We talked a little bit about the other landscapes of sports as well. Gage, overall, man, things are going solid. I'm getting more and more excited as we get closer to the draft. I really would love if somehow the Bills shocked the whole world and somehow got Marvin Harrison Jr. and then we go to win a fucking Super Bowl and the guy has 1,600 yards and 100 catches. Dalton Kincaid has 1,600 yards and 100 catches. Khalil Shakir has 1,600 yards and 100 catches. Fucking Dawson Knox has no drops. You know what I'm saying? But of course,
you're getting me pumped up. You're getting me pumped up right now. So let's go ahead
then. Let's play the video real fast, and I got it, Gage. Don't worry. And getting saucy is going to be us getting fired up here for a second and heading out of the show. And like I said, this will be available via audio podcast tomorrow morning on Friday. So here we go. Let's find the Getting Saucy video. Where are you? There it is.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Ice cold, nice, refreshing Labatt Blue on a fierce storm behind JA-17.
It's a cold front, is what that is.
I'm fired up this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get you fired up. Bills Mafia, you want to hear me getting saucy this week? It's simple. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, and also, too, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that's got anything bad to say. Bills by a billion, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Bills. I'm going to tell you something, brother. This week, Sauce God is going to bring you a little bit of the vibes of the Macho Man, the cream of the crop, Randy Savage, because I got to tell you something. Sauce God likes to stir the sauce. The Buffalo Bills are going to get themselves ready to go and get themselves a premier wide receiver, because you know why? Because Josh Allen has to find a way to throw the ball to a guy that he wants to get into the end.
You got the red.
The Buffalo Bills are being counted out every day, and they just say the defense, that offense. It doesn't matter because you've got Josh Allen, JA-17, QB1 back there. And I'll tell you one more thing. You see that guy back there leaping over. He'll stiff arm you and he'll truck you. And he'll also juke you out. And he'll also throw the ball 1,000 yards all over you. And he's going to tell you something. Sauce God is getting saucy right here in the sit down. Presented by Duff and Swings, BuffaloSauceGod.com on Facebook, X, YouTube. And make sure you like, sharing, and subscribe. And make sure you are following with your notifications turned on. And you don't miss any of the live or any of the entertaining content coming from myself, the Sauce Guy, right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter with the sit down, and hosted by myself and the 12 Gauge. I threw you off there a little bit, Gage, didn't I, with the Randy Savage impersonation?
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, to the catchphrase, brother. Salute, bada bing. You chidros out there. Don't be a fucking, yay, vafanculo. You know what I'm saying? You guys out there, God bless. Go Bills. Make sure you tune into the sit down on Thursday nights on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Presented by Duff Swings at BuffaloSauceGuy.com and available via audio podcast the next day, which will be Friday morning. And of course, hey, we talk about everything: Buffalo sports, everything, content, life itself. Gage, I'll tell you one thing, man. For nothing, I'm gonna give a piece of advice for everybody out there today. If you had a bad day, find one thing to be grateful for. And if you can't find nothing to be grateful for, be grateful for the fact that you can even fucking use your brain to think about what to be grateful for, because you're still alive, you got a purpose, and you're here on this earth. You are blessed. God bless every single person out there. We appreciate the likes and shares and comments. God bless you, Gage. Appreciate you very much. Right here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment podcast. And of course, hosted by myself, Sauce God, 12 Gage, usually Rampart talking, sometimes T-Bone Taylor and Kirby. We love you guys. God bless.
Have a good day.